happening?
Not a great deal. Recovering from my operation.
Yes. How is the recovery going?
It's a slow progress, but getting there slowly. Each day goes on.
Can you breathe?
I feel better. I can breathe better today than I have in the past 3 or 4 days. I can tell you that much. Never again, mate. It's a pretty terrible feeling when you can't breathe through your nose.
How many times have you had this operation?
This is the second time I've had this operation. So it's what they do is I had my turbinates trimmed back and my deviated septum straightened, I should say. So
Is this something that you want to go public on our podcast?
it doesn't bother me. What's the big deal? It's only a nose operation.
I was going to say I can edit that out.
No, that's fine.
It's not a circumcision.
And what they do is because I said to the guy, listen, I need to be able to breathe from my nose. So they put 2 pipes in my nose. It was all good and well and fine when you're sleeping because you don't feel it. But when you wake up, oh, my God.
What, felt like you've been had your head slammed against a brick wall?
No, not so much I had my head slammed. Just like, when you got a bad cold and you can't breathe through your nose?
Uh-huh.
And it's just like that, just intense. And then you feel your nose and you've got 2 pipes hanging from your nose. And yeah, it's pretty gross. And then you push the pipes in and you can breathe through your nose and then they pull it out. Oh, my God. It's amazing. Amazing. But like I said, in the long term, it should be good. I just got to wait to get to the long-term part. So I'm halfway through the recovery phase.
Now you can breathe underwater.
Now I can breathe, full stop, they reckon. So what did inspire me to do it was I was listening to, Dean Cox when he had his, when Dean Cox was inaugurated into the Hall of Fame. Someone's made a speech that when he did his 3-kilometre time run, he couldn't breathe too well. And the doctor said, no, you better get your nose fixed. And they reckon he got his nose fixed and he was a different man. So that kind of inspired me to go to the nose doctor. So send out to Dean Cox.
Interesting. What are we podding about today? Any topics?
Well, just I want to talk. One thing I would like to think was, I don't know if you knew, but didn't take Joe Biden long to bomb Syria, did it?
What'd you expect?
Yeah, the establishment is back. The establishment is back.
Yeah, it was said many times. What was the reasoning for
I don't know.
the
I don't even know. It was just like, he just bombed Syria. I was like, really? Like 30 days into his presidency and he's bombed Syria.
Did Trump bomb any countries?
I think he bombed was that guy, that terrorist. That was it, wasn't it? That he.
The top dog that in Al Qaeda that he knocked off.
That was, as far as I know, that's what he did. But I thought that was quite interesting, actually. So,
yes, well,
and, good old Uncle Joe Biden.
This is what Americans doing what Americans do.
That's what the Americans voted for. So it's just a bit of I'm surprised he did it really so quick, to be honest with you. But
do it nice and early, and have it done and dusted and forgotten about after 6 months or even less.
The American people have elected him, and that's what they have to deal with now. So,
what about what we've got to deal with over here in?
There's a big news in the G2G pass. The G2G pass to stay in after the pandemic's finished. Well, eh? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought that these newfound powers would stay in place after the pandemic? Like there's been a pandemic here anyway. So this G2G app, I was telling you, I was looking at it for a potential trip to Sydney next month, which I don't think is going to happen. So to go into Sydney, no problem. To go anywhere, I think no problem. There's no restrictions on travel in any state. However, coming back into WA is the issue because you need to have this G2G app on your phone to kind of scan in through the airport. And then, however, you have to quarantine if you've been in contact with anybody from Victoria.
Oh, so the person you're on the you happen to stand in line at the airport when you're buying a coffee. How are you supposed to know that they're from Victoria?
If you know that you've been in the vicinity of someone from Victoria, you're expected to declare it and then self-isolate for 14 days at home, right? If you've got the correct facilities, being, your own room, your own bathroom, and can stay at least 1.5 meters away from your family. I know this because I rang them up. I rang up the government hotline to work out what the guidelines are and what the rules are and what you have to do. So, yeah, if you declare that you've been, in contact with someone from Victoria, because the reason why Victoria is because they're the only state currently considered low risk, while every other state currently has a status of very low risk. Very low risk equals no isolation or quarantining, but low risk equals isolation quarantining.
So what happens if you're medium and high risk?
If any state is considered medium or high risk, you probably wouldn't be allowed to travel there, I would say.
Interesting.
So I think WA is the only state that has this draconian app and rule in place on returning to the state or going into the state. So if you have to, if you declare that you've, even been to Sydney, but been in contact with someone from Victoria while you were in Sydney, which is probably likely because I was going to go to a conference.
A conference, yeah.
So there would be people from everywhere. Then you would have to, again, self-isolate for 14 days, but you have to have this app on your phone. And it's a GPS tracking app, which you have to have on, and it's got facial recognition. So I think what you need to do is probably on the daily, have to check in with your face to show that you're in your surroundings and you are who you are and you are where you are.
Oh,
Welcome to Tin Pot Dictatorship, authoritarian Western Gestapo Australia.
Heinrich Hockenheimer from the former East Germany would have been proud of that.
Oh.
He would have loved that control.
And this is what McGowan is saying is to be in place for the next year and probably beyond.
And he said he wanted him beyond for the control of drugs.
That's right. That's the excuse. That's just the guise, all right? It's just an excuse because it's been effective in stopping drugs coming in. Absolute crock.
What a world we're living in.
So he needs to have a meeting with the police commissioner to get this locked in. And that's the definition of a police state. You're aligning with the cops to put the fist down. It's just, oh man, and no one says it. No one calls it out.
I think it's been this one. He's been caught out a bit. I think he's been caught out a bit on this one.
All right. The media I've seen report it, but where's the pushback? Where's the accusation of being, of being authoritarian? And where's our dear opposition leader who's thrown in the towel already?
He actually did say something about that. So he actually was pretty.
Yeah, he was very forceful. I bet he was very forceful, and he was getting angry and raised his voice, didn't he?
He did.
He raised his voice?
He did.
Jesus, it's a miracle. I'm going to go and find this footage.
This is, I don't think that is, as a state, as a West Australian, as an Australian citizen, that is completely unacceptable. I don't care what anyone says.
Exactly.
So, I got to ask permission to leave my state. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, I am a citizen of Australia, not a citizen of Western Australia.
It's not only that you need to ask permission to leave, it's that when you come back, you have to submit to being tracked.
Yep.
When you come back. It's sickening.
With facial recognition as well. Why do they need facial recognition? Why? Tell me why.
This app has got facial recognition. You probably have to, I don't know if you have to have your GPS on your phone the whole time or if you just have to turn it on at intervals. I don't know. But it's GPS tracking and facial recognition. Probably fingerprint as well. Who knows? Scan your retinas. Seriously, it's...
What a world we live in, eh?
Yep.
What a world we live in.
There's so much that, Kirkup, he's thrown in the towel already. He's already said that he's going to lose this election. And then this comes out. Why would you do that? when this could potentially, if anyone's, going to be wise to it and wake up to it, it could potentially be a topic that turns the election. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But he's blown any chance of that. So he can make as much song and dance about it as he likes, but he's already thrown in the towel. So, the tide ain't going to turn. Not enough. And I don't think West Australians are awake enough anyway to the reality of what's going on. I mean, look at that Italian wedding a couple of weeks ago, right, where Mark McGowan happened to show up at the reception. So they invited him to come in, and the whole room, I mean, who knows, there's probably, at Crown, there's probably a couple hundred people at this wedding maybe, probably at least 150. And to a rapturous applause, this guy comes in. This is the premier. What premier in history would get that kind of reception at a wedding reception?
He's keeping everyone safe.
A politician should be booed at the best of times. The father of the bride gets up and goes, Mark McGowan is my God. He's my God. Mate, you were skating on such thin ice that this wedding didn't even happen. It wasn't going to happen. It's just by pure luck that during the week the lockdown ended and the wedding could go ahead, and he's your God. Your daughter's wedding was at risk. Imagine, what about all the poor people who had to miss their weddings because of this lockdown?
Well, what happened with the last lockdown, I heard a couple speaking to a caterer friend that I know, and he was telling me he had a wedding booked in they had the wedding during the day, and then at night they had the ceremony at his function place. Like, whoa, I don't think it went ahead. I was like,
so this was on the Sunday that the lockdown was called.
Yeah, of course.
Mel, that was the first thing I thought. I can't remember if I mentioned it in a previous podcast, but that was the first thing I thought that Sunday afternoon when it was announced that 6 p.m. WA or half of WA is going into lockdown. The first thing I thought was, what about people who've got weddings that have already just finished it was about 1 o'clock, just finished the ceremony. What happens to their wedding reception? So wedding receptions did get shut down, did they?
Yeah, well, that particular person, I'm not going to mention any names, but yeah, he was telling me.
What was the location?
I was in the city there. But regardless, you know what I mean? Yeah, but regardless, you know what I mean?
That's incredible. You think they could have given an exemption for, things that were already,
And even if they went some, they had to wear a mask. Think about it. So, yeah, the bride and groom working with a mask. That's the world we've come to. I'll show you the mask I bought.
A Juventus mask. Where did that come from?
On the internet.
Made in China?
Of course it's made in China.
God. Does it comply? Is it going to save your life?
It's got the...
you might be putting yourself at risk entering the public wearing that.
It comes with the PM2, the filters that you put in there.
Uh-huh.
And I bought a kid's one for my nephew. So, CR7.
With Ronaldo on it. Oh, God, no. Jeez.
You got to do these things.
So you're anticipating that we're going to need these things again?
Well, my feeling is if we're going to travel again, we're going to need them, aren't we?
Well, no, not at the moment. I don't think you need to.
Well, no, I'm saying get on a plane.
Well, to leave the country probably, but at the moment you can't leave the country. But one of these years that has to be reinstated.
I used to travel a lot to China, as you know, and every time I used to go to China, everyone on the plane had these masks on.
Oh, pre-pandemic.
But bear in mind, they've had pandemics all along. They had the bird flu, the swine flu. Remember, I travelled to China in 2009 when the swine flu was on, so everyone was walking around with masks on.
Were you?
No, I wasn't.
Was it law? Was it the law that you had to have a mask on?
No, not back then. No. Okay. But I remember you had to walk through the temperature. They had the they had the heat temperature, the sensors there. Yeah. And then they had all the I remember there was security or police, whatever, standing as you went through with a temperature. They had a temperature gauge at your head there to test your temperature.
So they're used to that then over there. But
they're used to that.
Pre-pandemic, if you ever saw someone wearing a mask in public, it was usually an Asian person.
Yeah, of course.
There's only rare occasions, but I do remember seeing sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I think personally masks are going to be here for international travel, I think.
For good.
I think eventually for unforeseeable future. That's what I believe.
Yeah, probably.
I think they're going to be there for international travel.
Hopefully not for interstate.
Hopefully for not the interstate, but maybe for international. Did you see the was it the figures for the vaccination? With WA to 75% of their allocated.
What is it?
Of doses? Which is, yes. For the vaccination, for the doses that they've already administered.
Where?
In WA. For the people that were entitled to the vaccinations that they received, the allocation.
Yeah.
I think WA's used about 75%, which is pretty good.
I don't understand what you mean.
They're vaccinating at a higher rate, so they're rolling it out pretty fast here in WA, which is pretty good.
So are you going to get
What are your thoughts on the vaccine? Yeah, are you going to get it?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing, right? Let me say. I was speaking to someone once, right? And I met this person that you probably say, and I've known they've had a bit of a checkered past. Oh, I'm not. And they swore black and blue. They're not taking the vaccine, this and that. And I think to myself, in my head, you've put that much stuff in your body, right? Yeah. Illicit substances. This person that I know how to check it past, illicit substances, and now you're telling me you're not going to take the vaccine.
Yeah.
So happy to take all the other illicit crap in their life. But when it comes to the vaccine, no, they don't want to take it because they don't know where it comes from. I'm like, really?
I just think, don't vaccines normally take years to...
Look, my debunk theory on this one is, right? This is my debunk theory.
Hang on. What's your debunked theory? It means your theory has already been debunked before it comes out of your mouth?
No, sorry. My theory on debunking that comment about that, but that they've done it so fast, is the amount of money and investment and infrastructure they put into it. It was inevitable they'd do it fast.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's the first thing. Second thing is, companies like Pfizer, they make money by producing the vaccines. They want it to work. They don't want it not to work, do they?
Yeah, look, I'm not by no means anti-vax. I've had all my vaccinations all my life. My kids are up to date on theirs. And I don't know, it's just this one. I don't know. I don't think that you're a nut job if you've got hesitation, let's say, about this one. Just because of the rushed nature. And I get your point. They want it to work. It's in their financial benefit for it to work.
100%.
Yeah, I get that. But I don't know. I just...
And really, think about it. It's not as massive... They've been working on the SARS virus for a long time anyway. So it's not exactly a huge change from that, is it?
Mm.
So stuff would have all been ready in the pipeline. It's not as if they're reinventing the starting from a blank slate.
Yeah. I don't know. I suppose eventually, I don't know if it's that. My concern is if it's mandatory, if you have to get it. It's like it's just one more authoritarian.
Okay, yeah, okay. Again, but bear in mind, 20 years ago, the first time I went to Thailand back 20 years ago, right? I had to have the tetanus, the rubella, all those other shots.
Yeah.
What's the difference? I had to have them anyway.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose the difference is they're tried and tested. Not that these are not been tested, but you know what I mean? It's just they've been around for years, those ones, and we're used to that. This is something new. I don't know. Hey, I'm not going to be an anti-vax marcher or like these nut jobs been marching Definitely in the streets. All 25 of them, but. I don't know. I'm not going first, right? That's all.
Well, good news is you're not going to be first.
Yeah, I know that. So yeah,
you're about fifth on the pecking order. Right. So,
and look, over here in WA, I think we don't need to worry too much because we're being protected by our dear leader, so we're all good.
It's keeping us safe. Keeping us safe,
and we're all in this together.
Yeah. Obviously, we're on this together as long as you're from WA, not any other state. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's the first responders, nurses, doctors, and healthcare workers get it, and there's over 80. Is that correct?
What about pregnant women?
Then it goes to over 70.
I think that's a legitimate concern for pregnant women. I think they have a legitimate concern because how much testing has been done on pregnant women? I don't know.
No, that's fair enough, and I have no problem with that. I have no problem with pregnant women waiting. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to what's going to happen in the future when people refuse to have the vaccine and as part of their job they're required to have the vaccine.
This is another very draconian thing, right? If your employer or, airlines, can mandate that you have to get a particular service to go somewhere, you have to have you have to have had this vaccine and you've got to show proof of it, whether that's some digital certificate on your phone or some sort or whatever. I don't know. That's probably in place. I haven't looked into that. Maybe that's part of this G2G app. Who bloody knows? But it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know, man. It's just
that I think is a real can of worms, isn't it? Because
how much of this is for public health and how much is just a crackdown by government on citizens,
But the other thing I have a concern with what's going to happen is, like, when we do travel, like if you're going to get travel insurance, are they going to make an exemption for COVID-19 and any pandemic-related disease that comes out in your fine print?
So if you were to go overseas and contract COVID, then you're not covered.
And you haven't had the vaccine, you're not covered. Or they're going to put something in their terms and conditions to say if there is a pandemic of a virus, that they're not going to cover you.
I'm sure that's already in place and ready to go, all those clauses.
Yeah, but not to the level now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's really going to be at this level.
I don't know, man. Just the world has fucking changed, I tell you. It's scary.
He's very scary, my friend.
Scary to think the bullshit that goes on now compared to when we were growing up. It's like, God, take me back.
I miss when we were growing up. We had some great times back in those days. Life was very simple.
Very true. Very true.
Very true. Very simple.
Remember the old black track down at next to the Balcatta soccer ground? We had some good times there.
Yes. Yes, I spent a lot of time in my youth in that.
Up to your knees in
that mud. Up to knees in my mud. Yeah.
Have you voted yet?
No, I haven't voted yet. My vote in the upper house is going to the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party.
I did do. I went to vote on the first day that it opened up, the early voting, and I did spend a fair bit of time numbering from 1 to 64 under the line.
I do that as well. Most people look at me like you're an idiot, but I like my vote to count. I'm very cautious of where I give my vote to.
Yeah, same. The only thing is, there's all these independents named, and it's like, who the hell are these people? And just don't know where to put them, because you could put someone down the bottom who you might agree with if you knew what their policies were, and you would prefer to have put them at the top.
Is the no vax party in this year?
Yeah, there was some no vax crap. They were right down the bottom. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's just silly, you know what I mean? No
Socialist party. Alliance. Yeah, the Daylight Saving Party.
Oh, the WA Exit Party. What's your thoughts on the WA Exit Party?
Wax it, don't they call it? Wax it.
Yeah.
I gave them a pretty low number. Well, or high number, I should say, as high as possible. They've probably got marked in the 50s or something.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, I just want to know one thing. What is your migration and national security policy going to be?
I don't think all this stuff is very well thought through, surely.
No, surely. Obviously, it just proves it. But I'm just saying, what is their thoughts on their migration and their national security policy when it comes to the Army and national defence?
Well, that's when they would want to come home to Mother Australia.
Because Western Australia has a pretty big coastline, and last time I checked, it's a pretty long border.
it's not going to be ever possible for WA or any state to secede, right? Because what has to happen is there has to be a national referendum, and I think it's the majority of states and territories need to be in favour of it, and then it's got to go back to the UK, and it's got to be approved by the Queen. So, firstly, the rest of Australia is not going to agree to it. Secondly, the Queen's not going to agree to it. It's not going to happen.
The way our premier's been going, they might. You never know.
Well, then again, they might want to bugger him off. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to know, just answer that question, because when I looked at their policies, a lot of their numbers were based on 10% of the population is this, based on 10% of the population we take this. I was like, it doesn't work like that. The numbers just don't work like that.
About a third in land.
Yeah, third in land and 10% of the population. So the last time I checked, we have a pretty big coastline. That's got to be managed somehow. That's got to be looked after.
These one-issue parties are such a waste of time. They can't ever influence anything, surely.
But the most they do is get a seat in the upper house, and they might have a bit of bargaining to get a piece of legislation through.
To be a party that, has some sway in some way, you've got to be more than a one-issue party. You know what I mean? Like a One Nation, for example.
I wouldn't call them a good party. I don't rate them.
Well, I'm not rating them good or bad, but they're obviously more than a one-issue party. Is why I'm using them as an example.
Yeah. Then there's the West Australia Party is another one. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I think they're more conservative, aren't they? More conservative leaning. I don't know. Another small
there's
one.
a lot of independents there. I don't know.
Oh man, there were about at least 10, maybe 12, 13 independents listed for the Senate, and you've got no material to know who they are, right? If you haven't, spent hours online researching beforehand, then who the hell's going to do that?
No, I'm definitely not going to do that.
But at the end of the day, this election is just a farce now, and because Baby Kirkup has thrown in the towel 16 days early, more than 2 weeks early. What the hell was that?
Oh, I just think, is it normally that you can vote so early? Or they're just using the premise of COVID for...
Yeah, probably.
Probably,
because they went hard. The parties went, I don't know if you noticed, but I got a few things in the mail. The parties went hard on trying to get mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're cheeky bastards, mate, because this is the way it was working.
I totally disagree with that, by the way. I think that's wrong. Well, that is absolutely wrong.
It is.
Both sides of both parties.
Both Liberal and Labor. Dodgy as the way they were doing this. So they'd send you a application form for a mail-in vote, right? But what happens is you think that the application form is going to the Australian Electoral Commission. It's not. It goes back to the party that sent you the junk mail, basically. Right, so it would go back to either the Liberal or the Labor Party. They scrape all your details and enter it all into their database so that they can spam you, because you probably put in your name, email address, everything, and then they forward it on in the post to the Australian Electoral Commission. Such a scam, and it should be illegal.
That's wrong. That should be 100% illegal. Totally disagree with that. And even they're making websites like, what was the other one I saw? Vote WA. I was like, what? That is so misleading.
They're making these unlabeled websites. So there's no party emblems or logos on them. So they're just generic, where you can enter your details in and they get all your details. It's wrong.
Yeah, but even like what's his name, Mark McGowan, votewa.com.au. I mean, that's wrong. I think that's wrong. Personally, I think that's wrong. Find out where to cast your vote. To put your address in here. There's no word mentioned. Oh, there, right down the bottom. WA Labor Party. That is wrong. That is so wrong.
In the fine print. So put your address in to find out where to vote. So bang, they've got your address.
Yep.
I wonder what they do with that when you enter that field. If they keep your address and then send you mail. It's just a map.
But that's just wrong.
What a scam.
An electoral commission should be pulling the parties up on this. That is disgusting.
Yep.
It should be one place, the West Australian Electoral Commission, and that is it.
I wonder if that's the way they do it with all this mail-in voting, which is really huge in America. I wonder if they do it the same way.
Yeah.
If it's done through the parties. I bet it is. And
of course
now they're just running with that example. They've learned how to do it over here, and now they're ramping that up over here. Yeah.
Disgusting. But anyway, it's
people not wise to it. People got no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. Like, the average punter's not going to know. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Unless you read through and read the small print, you're not going to know what you're sending.
And it doesn't say, there's not a big logo on there. This is support Mark McGowan. This is put in your address to show us where to vote.
No,
that's a bit cheeky.
The point of it is to trick you into giving up your details. That's what it is. Plain and simple.
Yep.
Anyway, you haven't let me rant about my detestation of this baby Kirkup.
Well,
what do you think?
Rant if you like.
Well,
what I think.
He's thrown in the towel. Have you ever seen 16 days out from election, a opposition runner, leader of the opposition party trying to get elected, supposedly trying to get elected, just go in the media, look, we're not going to win, but we just want to keep the bastards honest, to use the old
bastards
cliche.
honest was a line from the Australian Democrats.
I know, but to use that cliche.
There's not much left of those people, is there? There's not much left of them. Whoa.
Come on.
Rant, go for it.
So tell me why this...
My attitude is very simple. My attitude is he was a lamb to the slaughter anyway, so that's
Don't you think that he's thrown all the rest of his candidates under the bus? Any other who had half a chance of nicking a seat or regaining a seat or whatever, maintaining their seat.
Did you watch the debate?
I watched the debate. Yes, I did.
Okay, I didn't watch the debate purely for one reason. What was it doing on Channel 7?
I don't know. Should it be on all the channels?
No, it should be on the ABC, the public broadcast.
Fair enough.
Nothing to do with a private enterprise.
Okay, that's fair enough. However, I don't think that swayed anything being on 7.
No, but it's regardless.
Yeah, I agree. That's what the ABC should be for. Yep, I agree.
That's what the ABC is there for.
Yep.
Now, whether it's the ABC's left-leaning, right-leaning, or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's the public broadcaster. They should have had the debate. What is it doing on a private channel?
I agree.
That is disgusting. I thought, not even going to watch it, just out of pure principle.
All right, I hadn't thought of that before, but yeah, that should be obvious. So yes, I agree.
It's so obvious. Like this. I thought, that's it. But anyway. So I didn't watch the debate, so I can't comment.
But I don't think there was. I didn't pick up on any bias by the panelists or the presenter or anything like that. But it was a 40-minute shit show, if you ask me, because this format of they ask a question and each candidate gets 30 seconds to respond. What is that crap? Seriously, and I tweeted this out. We could get those two morons on here. Right, on a bloody Zoom live call, right, with their two ugly mugs on there, and just ask them a question. And it doesn't have to be questions from us, and it doesn't have to be. It wouldn't even need to, and obviously this is just a stupid hypothetical. It's never ever going to happen, right? But that could be the format. Do a 2 or 3 hour Zoom call, and just ask questions and go. There you go, guys. There's the question. Chat it out, and you've got as long as you want. That's the way. That's a proper debate format, if you ask me. Right? It's never going to happen. But this 30-second is bullshit, mate. Honestly,
I did read about it, and from what I understand, I think they both were pretty pathetic.
Well, what are you going to get out of 30-second responses? You're going to get their party line talking points. That's it, repeated over and over again. All right, to try and like a TV ad. Just try and drum it into the brainwashed, idiotic, brain-dead public. That's all.
Yeah.
I can just imagine people sitting there and, whichever team they support, yeah, I agree with that, right, in the back of their minds. Whereas I was just fuming the whole way about both of these clowns because – and mainly I was set up to be fuming because of the bullshit format. That just annoyed the hell out of me, mate. That's just no way to get your point across for anything. Mark McGowan, he couldn't open his mouth without looking at his notes.
Oh, he's a terrible public speaker.
And Kirkup, he couldn't push back on anything about Mark McGowan that Mark McGowan has done in the past 4 years. No mention of row 8 and row 9 being scrapped by Labor until his last 30-second summarising. Okay, so that got no legs. No mention, about the draconian way that he's closed the borders and been a hard ass, parochial, us versus them bullshitter, and nothing like that. He's pretty much just said that he agrees with everything that's come out of the chief health officer, and he would do the same thing. So of course you may as well throw in the towel if you're not going to try and differentiate yourself or explain how you would have done things better. Just what do you expect? These idiots throw out a bloody 33-year-old baby who's in his first term as the opposition leader, and he doesn't oppose and he doesn't lead. It's such a farce.
So that to me is no excuse. I don't take this, he's 33 years old, we can't lead, because that's bullshit. Some of the best leaders in the world have been, like, Jacinta Ardern, for Christ's sake, 34 years old. You know what I mean?
Maybe in theory a 33-year-old can lead, but this one can't. He's proven that. He's got no ticker, no fight. Because if you're the opposition leader, this is the way I see it. If you're an opposition leader and you're up against someone who's supposedly, according to the media, according to polls, has a 80-90% approval rate, okay, which I don't believe, but supposedly
I don't believe it's 80-90%.
The only way you're going
to tell you one thing.
Listen, the only way you're going to get the tide to turn your way a little bit is by getting some mongrel and some fight and pointing out all the bullshit in the Premier, right? Yes, and telling the WA public you've been brainwashed. Tell them straight. Be blunt. Get in the face of the Premier and in these idiots who are supposedly in such favour of him. You know what I mean? Risk being disliked. There's no risk taking.
Yeah, but if he does that and abuse, you don't understand. I think at the moment,
I'm not saying abuse people, but get in their face. You don't have to use foul language, but be a little bit Trumpian, if you know what I mean. A little bit.
Yes, listen. Hear me out. What I'm saying is I deal with a lot of people day in, day out, and this topic comes up a fair bit. I can tell you right now, how many times I've heard, I'm going to vote for him this time. I've always been a Liberal person, but I'm going to vote for him. I go,
yes.
Okay. What's your reason? Because he protected us. He's kept us safe. Now, that line has rubbed off. What are you going to do? It's just been hammered into them. They've just come to expect. That's just
what I mean by get in their face is address those people. Because anecdotally, everywhere you've gone around the state, these normally Liberal voters have been telling Kirkup himself, I'm going to vote for the other guy because he's kept us safe. Get in the face when you're in the media, in front of the media, address those people. Say, listen.
Yes, but
listen, hear me out. Listen, all you people who are Liberal voters and have decided to vote for McGowan because supposedly you think that he's kept us safe, this, that, and the other. These are the reasons why you're thinking wrong. Get in their face. Make them have a second thought. You know what I mean? Risk being criticised. Risk being disliked. Get angry, all right? You're the opposition fucking leader. Oppose. There's plenty to oppose of what McGowan has done. We've been talking about it nonstop for fucking years. You know what I mean? You're going to tell me that the Kirkup and the other, let's call them leadership, the senior players in the Liberal Party don't know these fucking talking points that I'm coming out with, and they can do it in a more diplomatic way and more articulate way, supposedly. You know what I mean? Supposedly. Use it. Use the fucking feedback from the angry voters. I'm one of them. It riles me up, man, I'm telling you, that they just lay down for this clown.
Yes, I know that, and I agree with you, because you know my view on this whole this power control. But anyway, what I'm saying is the average person, you can rile them up as what you, and I'm telling you, I've seen people that have voted blue all their life, swear black and blue, he's got my vote this time. I said, yeah, but do you realise that, I said, no, because this isn't this. I said, you do realise that? Doesn't matter. He's still getting my vote because he's kept us safe.
Okay.
I'm like,
That's fair enough. That's coming from you. These idiots need to hear it from the fucking opposition leader. Because this, and this. These are the reasons why you're thinking the wrong way. You're being brainwashed.
Unfortunately, we live in such a bullshit world at the moment. It doesn't matter what he can't. So it all comes down. I'll give you an example, right? I forgot what ward it is in the eastern suburbs, not the eastern suburbs, in the southern suburbs. There's a doctor who's an independent who put the anti-vax party ahead of him.
Yeah.
Do you understand how pathetic this is at the moment? So he's fighting a losing battle. That just proves to you. It doesn't matter what he says. When a doctor, now hypothetically, no disrespect to the doctor, but you should have bigger brain than that to put the Liberal Party ahead of the anti-vax party. Come on.
Yeah, I'm telling you. This doctor is a Labor candidate, right?
No, I think he's an independent.
Okay. So,
come on, that's my point. What chance has this guy got?
Does that mean that you don't try and scream the house down for every last vote that you can squeeze out?
I'm not saying you don't try. You have to try, but
you've got to appeal to people's better judgment. You've got to make them reconsider, think twice. No, he hasn't been able to do that. One, because he's monotone. He can't inflect his voice. He can't raise his voice. He doesn't show any mongrel and any ticker. People want that in a leader. It worked for Trump. I'm not saying you have to be Trump. I'm not saying you have to talk like Trump and put people down or whatever, the way Trump did. But just have some mongrel about you. How else does someone differentiate themselves from a populist like McGowan at the moment? You've got to throw yourself in front of them.
Not all people like a bit of mongrel.
Not all. I don't give a fuck about all. Of course not all people like a bit of mongrel.
Yeah, but it's a popularity game.
A lot do.
Yeah, but it's a popularity game. Remember, he's not appealing to the he's appealing to the masses.
He has had no cut through by his Mr. Nice Guy monotone talking. Have you paid attention to him in the media? No one has. Make yourself fucking heard. This is my point. Get heard.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you is, if he comes across as a real arrogant, he's a dick, he's going to get even less votes because people are going to look at him. He's just whinging, and whatever McGowan does, he's just going to go against.
But if he lands his points. If he lands the irrefutable points about Mike McGowan and the way he's been authoritarian, right, and tells people study history, okay? But he can't because he agrees with everything. He agrees with everything McGowan's done. This is what we've got to choose from.
No. This is where you got to be very. He's agreed with the chief health officer. That's what he's agreed with. What his comment should be, right? He goes, I would have done exactly what the chief health officer said. That's what. If I was Zach Kirkup, I would have said that. I agree totally with what the chief officer and followed his recommendations. But contrary to unlike Mark McGowan, I would make the chief health officer's recommendations public to show whatchamacallit, that he's transparency. Because we're the only state that doesn't show that.
Fair enough.
No, but that's what I would have done.
That's a good one. Have you heard that point being said?
No.
Because I haven't.
No, I haven't. But I'm just saying that's what I would have said.
That's what I said before about explaining how you would do things better. All right? The things that you would do the same as McGowan, explain how you would do it better. All right? That's the point of being an opposition leader. Things that can't be opposed, at least explain how you could do it better.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's it. He hasn't done that, not one iota.
Yeah,
I should be an opposition leader, mate. I would do a good job, I reckon.
No, you're too passionate. That's why I've given up on politics. I'll be honest, what not I've done in my life this year, 2021, I have stopped using, or I won't say stop using, I have far less used Instagram, Twitter. I never was on Facebook anyway. Perth Now, WA Today. I've stopped really reading all that, what I classify as garbage. And you know what? I'm a bit happier person.
Oh, Mel, it's shining. It's showing through in your general demeanour. You're shining. You're glowing.
Well, I don't let it roll me up anymore because there's no point.
Fair enough.
I used to, like I said, I didn't watch the debate purely for one reason. It shouldn't be on Channel
What's the
7.
point of doing a podcast about, general and current affairs and news and stuff like that if you're not gonna be passionate about it and get riled up on,
Well,
on something?
it's better for my blood pressure. I can tell you that much. It's a lot better for my blood pressure.
All right.
My blood pressure's gone down this year.
Fair enough.
But my nasal blood pressure hasn't. But anyway.
But anyway, just to finish off on that, Liberal Party people are angry. Candidates
are
angry because they didn't know that he was going to do this, throwing the towel. He didn't consult with anybody.
What I will say is that the Liberal Party has shit media advisors. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
That I'll make very clear. They got to get, and the Labor Party has brilliant media advisors. There's a contrast of the two parties, big time. Mark McGowan has a fantastic PR team around him. Whoever his PR team have made him look like a god. Do I think he's a god? Far from it, but they have.
And they've also been helped by, home videos at weddings.
Yeah, but again, is that not genius? Just look at, is that not the genius of his PR team? Yeah, I'll take my hat off to him.
That was just organic. I don't think that really was anything to do with his PR team.
Yeah, but that's
just luck.
No,
luck.
It's not luck. That's all worked through his PR team. The PR team have built him up to this god-like figure.
Okay, yes, that happens because of previous work of the PR team.
That's purely because of his PR team.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I'll take my hat and I'll clap. They are an amazing team of people. I'm telling you, they are brilliant. If you got to advertise something, give me their number. They are incredible. They are absolutely incredible. Whoever the Liberal Party's got, mate, fired.
What I don't understand is, Mark McGowan's always, and I don't know, he has probably realised, and he's toned it down in more recent times. But remember, he was going hard about the us versus the eastern states, right? WA versus eastern states, and just picking fights with other premiers and stuff, right?
With John Barilaro.
Yeah. Why do West Australians love that? Why do West Australians love to pick a fight with Victorians, and mainly Victorians? Why? Especially,
I don't know.
Especially when it's completely away from the sporting context. What the hell is that?
What I've always said to you, you know what I mean? I hate that I've got to go for the Fremantle Dockers because they're from WA. I was like, really?
Yes, I detest that as well. I
was like, really? That's pretty pathetic, yes. You know what I mean? I should go whoever the hell I like, whether I live in Western Australia or Victoria or South Australia or Fremantle. If I want to go for Collingwood, I can go for Collingwood. If I want to go for Richmond, I can go for Richmond. If I want to go for West Coast, I can go for West Coast. That's my attitude. I hate that, I'm from WA, I have to support a WA team. Last time I checked, you can do whatever the hell you want in this country. If you want to support a Victorian team, knock yourself out.
But my question is, why do so many West Australians have this and go along with this us versus the East Coast mentality?
Maybe because we live so far away.
But yet we love going over to Melbourne. Can't get enough of going to Brunetti's. Right?
Yeah.
And all that fucking bullshit. Right? Love the shopping trips to Melbourne.
Oh, Chadstone Shopping Centre is the best.
Oh, yeah. I've got to go shopping on Chapel Street. But, Victorians, WA is much better. What's that about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what McGowan has played on with his bullshit media performances. And that's what's got him this popularity. That kind of stuff. I just don't get it. It's so brain dead to me.
I've always said my passport says I am an Australian and not a West Australian. And I pay my taxes to the Australian government, not the West Australian government. That's how I see myself, as an Australian. When I go overseas, I don't say, "Hey, I'm West Australian," do I? No, I'm Australian.
We're all in this together.
I wonder if they have this rivalry among states I'm sure they do in other countries, but to this level, I don't know. America.
I mean, in America, there's 50 of them. So.
Yeah, but they've always got this thing. They've got the beef about California. So.
I don't know, to an extent, but not like this, mate.
It's always Texas, California, New York State, and Florida. They're your main ones.
Yeah. I don't know. Has New Zealand got a North Island, South Island complex?
I have no idea.
I wonder.
I have no idea. Well, the mother country has a complex from the north and the south? Yes.
England?
No, the mother country.
Oh, our mother country. Yeah. I don't know.
But I think it's probably eased up in time. Maybe it was back in the old days, but I don't know.
I don't know. It just seems to be on another level here, and this pandemic has made it come through. Yeah.
And England would, I suppose. The Scottish and the English don't like each other. And
yeah, okay, but they're countries really, so they're not.
That's one thing I've never worked out is how they operate. Is the United Kingdom or the Great Britain or
I don't know. Yeah, I've never got that either because they are controlled centrally in London, right? But they have their own independent parliaments too. I don't know. It's weird, eh?
When you're in the Olympics, you're Team GB.
Yeah.
And you're in the World Cup, you're the England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
All right. The one that counts is the World Cup compared to the Olympics.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as whether it's a rugby union World Cup or rugby league or soccer,
or
cricket.
But the reason why they combine as Great Britain in the Olympics is because they want more gold medals. They want to do better in the tally.
Now, Andy Murray was British when he was winning, but he was Scottish when he was losing.
Yeah.
The other one was what was the other? Is it the British Lions? They played together as England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, as when they play rugby as the whole
British Lions,
United Kingdom, the British Lions. Yeah. Now the other thing is what I'm going to ask a British person. This one is: is the Scottish national anthem "God Save the Queen"?
I don't know.
And in Scotland, do they raise the flag of Great Britain or do they raise the Scottish flag?
Oof, probably the Scottish flag. But over the Scottish Parliament, do they have the Union Jack? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I mean, the Union Jack's an amalgamation of all the flags, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this could probably be Wikipedia'd. Not now, but it probably could be.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I still can't get a straight answer. You know what I mean? Even speaking to a British guy once, it was a bit okay. It was a bit confused. And same with Ireland. Ireland's another place you can talk about. You know, whether you're from the north or the south.
Northern Ireland is part of Great Britain, and the Republic is the south. Is not.
No.
It says
Northern
Republic.
Ireland is part of the United Kingdom, not part of Great Britain. Great Britain is just the island.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, God, it gets even more complex. So
Yes, that's my point.
So hang on. Great Britain is just the mainland island. So that's England, Scotland, right? And Wales?
England, Scotland, and Wales.
So it leaves out Northern Ireland.
Correct.
And anything else? Anything else left out?
Oh, the Isle of Man, I suppose.
Okay. And the little islands. What's the point of that? Oh, all these labels. Very strange.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like yes. See, that's right. So when you look at a British passport, right, it says British passport at the top. Then it turns and says United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Oh, okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, did the Irish go in to the into the Olympics as Ireland? Is that a unified island or is that a Northern Ireland? I don't know.
Well, that sounds like if they call themselves Great Britain in the Olympics, it sounds like Northern Ireland would compete on its own.
But I don't know if it does.
Oh, that's weird, man. I think we spent way too
long.
It's a dilemma. Well, not one that I'm going to lose sleep over, but
no, it's just a good talking point, definitely. When you and I've always tried to get this answer.
How about we throw it out to our listeners? If anyone knows what the hell, send us a message on whatever social media channel and let us know what the deal is between the difference between the United Kingdom and Great Britain.
And and then there's another name for including Ireland as well. There's another name for that one. I don't know.
Including Ireland, the Republic of Ireland.
I think the Republic of
I thought the Republic of Ireland was left out of everything, full stop, because they're a republic.
But it's now the British have got the old blue passport again.
What colour was it before? Green?
It was the burgundy, like the European Union.
Like the European Union. Oh, of course, because they're out of the EU.
Yeah, so they've gone back to the blue passport.
So hang on. Did that mean that everyone in Great Britain had to get new passports, or just on renewal, or how would that work?
Probably just on renewal, I'd say.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Because the British passport's blue now as opposed to the old burgundy. So interesting times. But, if someone can let us know, I'd greatly appreciate that. And I want to know, do the Scottish stand up and sing God Save the Queen?
Well, do the Welsh?
I don't know.
Well, also Northern Ireland, do they sing God Save the Queen?
Well, I don't know.
We used to before our time, but
yeah, that was in the early 70s, wasn't it?
It used to be God Save the Queen. So
yeah,
when Australia first qualified for the World Cup in 1974,
74, I think it was
74. Yeah. They must have sung 74. God Save the Queen before each match. How weird.
True.
Imagine if they had played against England. You'd have two versions of God Save the Queen, one after the other.
Well, they technically would have just sung it once.
Maybe everyone just does countries. A group hug and sings it all together in the centre circle.
But actually, just speaking, I was thinking as well the other day, Advanced Australia Fair, how it says we are young and free.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like saying after this G2G, I don't think we can scrub the word free out.
Well, they've scrubbed the word young out. Now it's we are one and free.
Oh, one and free?
Which, I don't care either way. Fair enough. As long as they don't get rid of Gert, I'm happy.
To be honest.
As long as we still Gert by sea, it's all good.
Oh, for we are one and free. I didn't know.
Yeah, that was a month or two back. Maybe, a couple months back. But of course, then you had people coming out saying there wasn't enough changes in it, and this, that, and the other should be changed as well, or it should just be scrapped altogether and a new one, and blah blah blah. It never end these debates.
Yeah, Gert. That's a great word. That one, isn't it? Gert by sea.
Should Australia have the Union Jack in its flag?
Well,
for no reason, just throwing that question out there.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
I think it's a good looking flag, and obviously we're used to it. But I think technically,
it doesn't need to really be there.
Yeah, it's another country's flag, or it's another unions of countries' flag. The Union Jack.
One thing I've always wondered, why have we our flag blue, white, and red there, and then our colours are green and gold?
It's just sporting colours, same as Italy. Italy's flag is green, white, and red. Sporting colours are blue and white.
True.
Same thing. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, so I would like to see what they put our flag if they had to redesign it.
I think if it was redesigned, it would be a bit ugly. Why not just do the blue with the stars, and move them more into the centre or something? I think the stars. Just leave it at that. Actually.
The stars are pretty good.
The Southern Cross with the Federation star, move it, kind of centre it a bit more.
And let's make that one flag
and that's
with
it.
stars
Make that the flag. That'd be all right.
Yes, but the word "free" in the national anthem, it should be "We are one and free if you have a G2G." That's what it should say.
It rhymes. Well, maybe when the Waxit Party gets their own way, right, and Western Australia actually does officially become Westralia, let's call it, yes, they can just modify the current national anthem and say we are one and free and get the G2G.
As long as you got a G2G.
What does that mean? What does it mean? Good to go? Good to govern?
You're asking me.
Give to government, probably. That's more like it. Give to government.
Yeah. On that note, Simon,
yes.
I think
we're rambling and babbling enough, so let's wrap it. Scratch you later. And everybody follow us on our social blah blahs, and what we should tell people is that we've got this new technology. So we're no longer actually doing Zoom. We are using Riverside, which apparently is what Hillary Clinton uses for her podcast.
Wow. Oh, gee, we better be careful. We might go missing, son.
Not that I've ever heard her podcast or ever intend to.
Oh, no.
But that's what they promote on their website, isn't it? That she uses it. Riverside. So it's like Zoom, but it allows us to hook up live streams while we're podcasting to Facebook and YouTube. Now, we actually do have a YouTube account buried away somewhere with a couple old videos, which is just audio of older podcasts. I haven't got around to getting that all sorted. But anyway, we can, in future, live stream on Facebook and YouTube and take call-ins. So I think we just need to get our shit together and get that going, and then kind of promote that we can, going to do a podcast at a particular time and, take call-ins during the podcast. So everyone get in line and, eventually we're going to have that sorted out and in place. I think that's exciting.
Yeah.
So
it is exciting times.
And we haven't mentioned the fact that your brother's not here. So,
but
anyway, cheers, Dom.
Yeah.
Pulled a sickie today. No, not getting paid. All right.
All right.
Adios.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
This is pretty clear, this Riverside.
It's good, eh?
This here is a little song about the man that I love. All right. Daniel takes me on a date, but I know his daddy paid. And honestly, I just can't wait to go home. I'll lock the door of my bedroom, dim the lights, turn on the news, and I'll let it all go. 'Cause all these city boys are so straight-laced and straight-faced. They came straight from UWA. So I'm gonna head to Rockingham, find myself a country man. And when I do, I'll say, do you wanna pick me up? Go to the pub and then grab a kebab with me, Mark McGowan. I'm in love, I'd do anything for you and your heart, heart, heart. Do you wanna pick me up? Go to the pub and then grab a kebab with me, Mark McGowan. I'm in love, I'd do anything for you and your heart, heart, heart. Border. You've got the brains, you've got the rig. We're sipping pints at the Swinging Pig. I think this man's a keeper. He's wearing the suit, but still rocking the sneakers. And here's my knight in shining armor. Whenever we're together, I'm not worried about Clive Palmer. Honey, it's true, if you two got in a blue, I'd bet 30 billion of my dollars on you. Down the track when we try for a baby, will you wear the uniform that you wore in the Navy? I'll say,
oh, thank you, Lieutenant, for your protection. But like the Easter Bunny, I'll give you an exemption.
I got a habit of moving too fast. First things first, I guess that I'll ask. Do you wanna pick me up? Go to the pub and then grab a kebab with me, Mark McGowan. I'd do anything for you and your heart, heart, heart. Do you wanna pick me up? Go to the pub and then grab a kebab with me, Mark McGowan. You're the man who makes me say, damn. Now show me how you rock it. Show me how you rock it. Show me